There is nothing better than a summer night on the outdoor patio at Long Neck Sports Grill. Each Long Neck's location has an outdoor patio. There are 4K TVs, so you won't miss a second of any game you want to see. And the beer selection is top notch. Nothing's better than a cold beer on a warm summer night outdoors. And by the way, if you haven't had the wings at Long Neck's, you're missing out. Get to Long Neck's, Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood, and enjoy the outdoor patio this summer. Long Neck Sports Grill. Stay late. Come often. I do feel like talking with my guy, Dr. Angel Velazquez from OrthoCincy. We talk injuries every Wednesday with one of the experts from OrthoCincy Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. And what we love about OrthoCincy is they have specialists and locations all over the tri-state, and they offer walk-in orthopedic urgent care at 5 tri-state locations. And they have extended evening and weekend hours in Edgewood and Anderson. You can learn more at OrthoCincy.com. That's OrthoCincy.com. Dr. Velazquez with us from OrthoCincy. So Joey Votto is on the injured list with a strained left shoulder. This is the same shoulder that he had surgery on last year. Can we assume that these two things are related?
Obviously, when somebody have a previous injury and especially a rotator cuff repair and a bicep repair, back a little bit over a year ago, that was in August 2022, we assume that everything has to be, correlated with it. I'm not saying that it's the same injury got worse, but the shoulder get fatigued. You look back and you say, okay, professional baseball players, how many of them with rotator cuff surgery, can come back to full activities, the same level that was. And there's a study that was done on review, study that got some review for around 1,200 professional baseball players over the last several decades. And they show that, rotator cuff repair, they look for 43 professional baseball players and 17 of bicep repair or bicep tenodesis. And they find out that at least 53.3% gone back to return to physical activities or return to play. Of those, 27.9% go back to previous performance. So if you look at it, the best injury that they can do repairs on the shoulder and come back really well is the latissimus dorsi injury. The worst of those was the rotator cuff. So when you are looking at the numbers on professional baseball players, the numbers go against anybody. I'm not talking about just, him or because his age. Anybody who has rotator cuff repair, there is, a decrease or there's a lowest chance to come back to prior peak or prior performance. So I'm not saying that they don't come back, but I'm saying that the numbers are there. So obviously that comes with fatigue, through the season. He's on the left arm, left shoulder. He's a right-handed thrower. That left shoulder is moving all the way in the field, fielding the ball, picking up the ball from the ground. You use that bicep when your arm have to, do some supination or the palm coming up when he's picking up the ball. You're talking about balls over his head. That's the rotator cuff, putting his shoulder in that position. So, through weeks and weeks of training and getting and playing, he definitely going to have some fatigue, and it's not uncommon.
With Joey, age is a factor. He's going to turn 40 in a couple of weeks. How much is age a factor in recovering from something like this?
Well, if you look, I think we talked about this before about, the stem cells that comes to your body and heal, your body. You got less of those healing properties the older that we get. So, definitely, you're going to have some healing properties that are less than a 20-year-old kid. And definitely when you got a tendinitis or you got an infection or inflammation, I would say inflammation to those tendons, take a little bit longer to heal. So definitely age is a factor like anybody else, for taking, some setback and taking a little bit longer to come back.
Let's talk about Matt McLain, who's also on the injured list with a right oblique strain, was placed on the 10-day injured list after trying to play through the pain. Can you explain how the grade of an oblique strain is determined?
Well, obliques, those are the muscles that are helping you to rotate your torso. Okay, so a right-handed thrower, he needs to turn to the left side, so the left obliques are going to be more stressed. A right-handed hitter, the left side will be more stressed. So The internal oblique is the one that is the one that is activated the most on any of those activities that it means throwing or hitting. And, if you look, it is a problem baseball player, especially in the summer, at the beginning, actually spring training, late into the summer. Why? Because at the beginning of spring training, it's more about conditioning. We talk about this about other players in the past. And now in the summer, we're talking about dehydration, fatigue. He's a rookie. He's not been on this position playing that many games at this level, with the speed that comes in from the mound. Now the pitchers throw harder, so they need to be stronger. They need to be faster to be able to pick up with that ball. So there's a lot of more loading in those internal obliques that can cause pain. And the thing is, they feel something and they're able to go through it, but it's really hard for a hitter to swing conservative. They're going to swing, they're going to swing. And obviously that's why they try to come off this injury that may be mild at the beginning. And, we talk about the grades now. Grade 1 is just a little bit inflammation to the muscle. Grade 2 is a little bit of tear to the muscle. Grade 3 is what a significant tear to the muscle. So depending the grading, is the symptoms that he's going to have and how long it's going to take him to.
It always feels like oblique injuries, the minimum injured list stint, it always goes way past that. Are there reasons why?
Well, if you look at this, there's a study that I was reading by a former Dodgers athletic trainer. I think last name is Conte, and he looked at those oblique injuries, several years in baseball, and he find out that the injury is about 10 days. But the average of hitters, to be back to full activities, going back to games, is 27 days. And the average for pitchers is 35 days. So you made the math there. Obviously, low-grade injuries means a grade 1 injury. They potentially can come back, after 10 days, maybe 14 days. I see a guy's last name Lagarde that I was looking at it. He came back at 18 days with a grade 1 oblique strain. But if it's more than a grade 1, that's going to put him a little bit longer, okay? It's going to take a little bit long time. So I know the injury list is 10 days, but sometimes take a little bit longer, not just for them to feel good. Think about this. Pitchers, when they come from the oblique injury, they can start light tossing early. It's easy for them to light toss. Think about a hitter trying to do a light hitting. They're not. It's difficult for them to come and swing conservative, when they're trying to speed up, right? So that's why for hitters a little bit harder and take a lot longer because the injury take longer. And then you have to, catch up the game, how the speed of the game and get ready for live BP and go from there.
Let's talk about Joseph Ossai. Dr. Angel Velazquez from OrthoCincy is with us. The Bengals defensive lineman dealing with a high ankle sprain. His status for the season opener is in doubt. Let's start with the injury itself. What exactly is a high ankle sprain, and how does it differ from a typical ankle sprain?
Well, ligaments ligament in the ankles, there are multiple of them. They're the outside ligaments. They're the one that we, sprain more commonly when you twist your ankle inward. And then you got the inside ligament, that is the one when you twisted your ankle, outwards. That, with your foot go up and to the side, to the outside, you can have what we call a high ankle sprain. That is a ligament that connects the two bones of the lower leg, but really at the ankle level. The problem with that is that those high ankles, sprain take longer because it's a factor with weight bearing. So when you push all your weight, that weight go to those two bones of your lower leg and they try to separate. Well, that ligament hold those two bones together. So just weight bearing aspect and putting weight on it is going to cause a lot of stress in those ligaments. That when you have a lot of ankle sprains, more about side to side movement, right? So, that high ankle sprain take a little bit longer because it is about the congruency or integrity of the joint that can be disrupted by that ligament injury. That is take a little bit longer.
So walk me through the possibility, based on what we know, that he could actually play a week from Sunday. And is this the sort of thing that we have to worry about kind of recurring as the season unfolds?
Yes. You have to be sure, number one, when those guys come back, most of the time when they come back really quick, a lot of the time they're not 100%. They are not 100%, but that's their job. That's what they're there for, and they are willing, if they're safe enough for them to be in the field and protect themselves, they're okay to play. you obviously do everything that you can do. You continue doing treatment, with decreased inflammation, with medication, icing, modalities. You tape them, you brace them, you do everything to keep it more stable. And you may limit, his playing time to be sure that, that it's not. You may have specific plays that he's using his other, ankle more than that ankle. Can be a little bit more creative to trying to keep it in the field if you really, need it. But definitely reoccurrence if they're not ready and they haven't healed. Look what happened with Patrick Mahomes in the playoff last year, right? So he got a ankle sprain. His ankle twisted, to the outside. He came on a bad play and he was limping. He went to a halftime, came back, and was able to perform. But it is amazing. You can have re-injuries even when he had a break and he had 2 weeks of resting before the Super Bowl, right? So he still was, injured, and you can see that he wasn't 100%.
Awesome insight as always. Love having you on. We'll do it again soon. I appreciate the time. Dr. Velazquez, you're the best, man. Thanks so much.
No, thank you for having me.
There you go. Our guy, Dr. Angel Velazquez from OrthoCincy.com. I say this every single week. The awesome thing about OrthoCincy is they have specialists and locations all over the tri-state. This includes walk-in orthopedic urgent care during the week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in both Edgewood and Anderson. It is easier because you don't need an appointment, and it's most definitely cheaper than an ER whenever you have an urgent orthopedic injury. Go to OrthoCincy.com. That's OrthoCincy.com. This time of year, there's nothing better than sitting outside in the patio with a cold drink in your hand, especially at Long Necks. Each of the 3 Long Necks locations has an outdoor patio perfect for the summertime. The beer selection is terrific, and if you haven't tried Long Necks wings, what are you waiting for? And yes, there are TVs outdoors, so you're not going to miss any of the action. Long Necks has locations in Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood, each one of them very easy to get to. Long Neck Sports Grill, this summer, stay late, come often.